The year was 1980. An icy dread began to seep into the heart of British Columbia. A darkness was settling, brought not by the long winter nights, but by the unspeakable acts of a monster in their midst, Clifford Olson. The mere whisper of his name sent chills down the spines of parents and turned children's laughter into anxious silence. He was every parent's nightmare realized, a predator stalking the most vulnerable among them, their children. Olson's hunting ground was vast, stretching from Vancouver Island to the mainland. He moved like a phantom, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and unanswered questions. Each new disappearance chipped away at the facade of safety, replacing it with a gnawing fear that tightened its grip with every passing day. No one was safe. No one could be trusted. The idyllic image of a peaceful British Columbia was irrevocably shattered. In its place, a horrifying mosaic was being pieced together, each gruesome discovery revealing more of the monster's depravity. The Beast of British Columbia, they called him, and rightly so. For within this man resided a beast of unimaginable cruelty, a darkness that defied comprehension. Olson's modus operandi was chilling in its simplicity. He was a master manipulator, playing on the trust and naivety of youth. He approached victims in broad daylight, in public places where they felt safe, an offer too tempting to resist. These were his tools, his weapons of deception. Sometimes it was the promise of a lucrative job. Other times, it was the allure of forbidden substances. He knew what buttons to push, what strings to pull. Once he had their trust, he would lead them away. Forests became his chambers of horror, secluded cabins, his torture dens. It was here, in the shadows, that the mask slipped. The details of his crimes were a testament to his sadistic nature. He reveled in their pain, their fear, each life extinguished, a cruel trophy in his twisted game. For months, Olson continued his reign of terror, each new victim fueling the public's fear and the police's desperation. The pressure mounted, the manhunt intensified, but Olson, like a phantom, always seemed to be one step ahead. Then, in August of 1981, a routine traffic stop on Vancouver Island proved to be his undoing. Olson, traveling with two young women, aroused the suspicions of the officers. Their instincts were right. The women were reported missing, their families clinging to hope, unaware of the horrors they had endured. With Olson's capture, a collective sigh of relief swept across the province. The nightmare was finally over, but the true depth of his depravity was only just beginning to surface. In a move that shocked the nation and ignited a firestorm of controversy, Olson struck a deal with the devil. In exchange for leading authorities to the bodies of his victims, Olson demanded a sum of $100,000, $10,000 for each life he had so callously taken. The public was outraged. Families of the victims were left reeling, forced to grapple with the knowledge that their loved one's killer was profiting from their deaths. How could a system designed to uphold justice be party to such a grotesque bargain? The answer, it seemed, lay in the complexities of the legal system and the desperate need for closure. The Crown prosecutor, faced with the daunting task of proving Olson's guilt without the bodies of his victims, saw the deal as a necessary evil. A way to bring a swift end to the terror and provide some measure of solace to the grieving families. But the price of this justice was steep. Olson, true to his manipulative nature, reveled in the attention, the power he still wielded from behind bars. He had played the system, using the anguish of others to line his own pockets. The money, he claimed, was for his wife and son, a final act of defiance against a society he seemed to hold in utter contempt. Section 5. Scars on a Nation, the Legacy of Terror. Clifford Olson's reign of terror may have ended in 1981, but the scars he left on the Canadian psyche ran deep. The case became a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of innocence, the ease with which evil could penetrate the veneer of normalcy. The cash for bodies deal ignited a national debate about the ethics of criminal justice, a debate that continues to this day. It forced Canadians to confront uncomfortable questions about the limits of due process and the delicate balance between expediency and morality. In the aftermath of Olson's crimes, there was a palpable shift in the social fabric of British Columbia. Parents held their children a little tighter. The carefree nature of youth seemed to vanish overnight, replaced by a newfound awareness of the darkness that lurked in the shadows. The case also exposed weaknesses in law enforcement's approach to missing children cases. The investigation, hampered by jurisdictional issues and a lack of coordination between different police forces, highlighted the need for a more centralized and efficient system for handling such cases. Section 6. The monster in the mirror dissecting a depravity. What drove Clifford Olson to commit such unspeakable acts? What dark recesses of the human psyche could birth such unfathomable cruelty? These are questions that have haunted criminologists and psychologists for decades. Olson, throughout his life, displayed a blatant disregard for authority and a penchant for manipulation. His criminal record, stretching back to his youth, was a litany of petty thefts, frauds, and assaults, each offense escalating in severity. Some experts point to a troubled childhood, marked by abuse and neglect, as a contributing factor to his psychopathy. Others see his crimes as the inevitable outcome of a narcissistic personality disorder, fueled by a grandiose sense of self-importance and a lack of empathy for others. But ultimately, the answer to the question of why remains elusive. Clifford Olson was a monster, yes, but he was also a human being, shaped by a complex interplay of genetics, environment, and personal choices. To dissect his depravity is to acknowledge the chilling reality that monsters are not born, they are made. Section 7. Beyond the grave, Olson's final act of cruelty. Even in death, Clifford Olson continued to torment his victims' families. His death in 2011 from terminal cancer was met with mixed emotions. Relief that his reign of terror was finally over. Anger that he was never held truly accountable for his crimes. And a profound sadness that the closure they so desperately craved would forever remain out of reach. Olson, in a final act of cruelty, refused to disclose the location of one of his victims' bodies. He took that secret to his grave, leaving the family to grapple with the agonizing uncertainty, forever denied the chance to lay their loved one to rest. His death, while bringing an end to his physical presence, did little to quell the haunting memories of his crimes. The families of his victims, forever bound by their shared tragedy, continue to navigate the long and arduous path of healing, their lives forever altered by the darkness that Olson brought into their world. Section 8. Echoes of Fear. The Unanswered Questions. The case of Clifford Olson, despite its notoriety, remains shrouded in unanswered questions. Speculation and conspiracy theories abound, fueled by the gaps in the official narrative and the unsettling nature of Olson's crimes. Some believe that Olson may have been responsible for other unsolved murders, both in Canada and abroad. His transient lifestyle and history of violence lend credence to these theories, but concrete evidence remains elusive. Others question the true extent of the cash for bodies deal, suggesting that Olson may have revealed only a fraction of what he knew. The possibility that other victims remain undiscovered, their families forever in the dark, is a chilling thought that continues to haunt the public consciousness. The lack of definitive answers, the lingering sense of unease, serves as a stark reminder that some wounds, no matter how much time has passed, may never fully heal. Section 9. A Reminder in the Darkness. Vigilance and Remembrance. The legacy of Clifford Olson serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, of protecting the innocent, and of never forgetting the victims of such heinous crimes. It compels us to confront the darkness that resides within humanity, to acknowledge its existence, and to remain ever vigilant in our efforts to combat it. The case also underscores the need for continued reform within the criminal justice system. While no system is perfect, The pursuit of justice must never come at the expense of compassion, empathy, and a steadfast commitment to upholding the rights of all, especially the victims and their families. Clifford Olson may be gone, but his crimes serve as a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of evil. It is a reminder that we must never become complacent, that we must always strive to create a world where such horrors are never repeated. For it is in remembrance that we honor the victims, find strength in the face of adversity, and vow to never let such darkness extinguish the light of hope.